Daddy's back.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, but we who are taking no nights off here in the Yard of Streams. It is me and the best of the West you can't forget about. Sara Marshall, what's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hello. Greetings. How we doing on this fine-ass Tuesday?
We're doing,
Doing good? Do we like the news? Not wrestling. Hopefully one day it may be, but Backyard Sports franchise is back.
I mean,
Did you see that?
I didn't play it, so
But you saw it.
Yeah, but it's not exciting to me. So
Very exciting to me. It was one of the few things that I saw outside the fish world that brought just a big old smile to my face. Bringing it back not only for the games, but maybe TV series, merch. I mean, now I can finally dress up like Pablo Sanchez for Halloween. It might be possible. We're in August.
Yep.
You get that shit out by late September. Cooking. I think that's a little too early to tell.
It's cooking.
I now have a rotation at work of that Roman. I'll actually put it up right now. I'll pull it. It's very quick. I have a rotation of cooking, the Hollywood, the Final Boss one. It's like a mix. Really cool. I'll send it to you. Roman, both of them. And then I'm obsessed with Ethan Page's now. I'm obsessed with Ethan Page's theme song.
Oh, I can't listen to it because it gets stuck in my head.
So yeah, you're with me. It's awesome.
I can't.
His Pete Dunne's indie one.
Excuse me.
When he's young and bitter. Excuse me, Pete Dunne.
Oh, okay. I know who that is. I know that guy.
His indie one and Pete Dunne, his new one, and then Darby Allin. It's not Raw, and then you'll like this one to wrap it off. Wolfpack, NWO.
Yeah.
We got a nice little
mix
there.
Yeah.
Gets us hyped through the day, let me tell you. You know what also gets me hyped? Hearing from the peeps, Sara. Let's hear from the peeps. We got Hey Nathaniel was popping. Rock, I think we could see both of them there.
Yeah, I think they'll hold off on that though, probably till Mania.
Yeah,
maybe.
Let's do it in Vegas.
I still would not be mad about Roman versus Rock at Mania 41. Everyone's talking about Cody versus Rock. I still want to see Rock reveal himself as the mastermind behind the Bloodline 2.0, and therefore that leads to the Mania match that they wanted to put on this year. Why not put it next year?
Give it some actual story detail. We'd like to see. David, what's popping? Sara, we got a yes boy there. Johnny Slick.
Let's go.
Back to Gunther.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn right. WWE don't want Saraya back. I saw that tweet today. Would you be interested in a current?
It's because her contract is coming up, so it's possible that they will not renew it. She doesn't want to renew it, or she wants to go to WWE. The irony in all of this is that these people that leave thinking that their lives are going to be so much better post WWE, and then they don't thrive in the way that they want to, and then they might be crawling back. Like that to me. I mean, even Mercedes talking about coming back to WWE at some point. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I am more on the people of the Matt Cardonas who go out there.
Yes.
And they're like, I love the indies. And if WWE called me, it would have to take a nice old big fat check.
Well, those
and I respect the hell out of that.
That is more of the Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, like Chelsea Green path. You know what I mean? Like that is the path that I can get behind.
Respect the hell out
Not
of
the
it.
people that like, you know, Paige or Saraya left because WWE doctors would not clear her, which appeared for a while to be the right case because I mean she was barely wrestling, especially when she first
She's a neck
returned.
thing.
And then it's like, yeah, so she might not even be able to return because WWE doctors might not clear her. Even after wrestling, it still doesn't mean that like her neck is 100%. But also doesn't necessarily mean that she wants to come back either. You know, she's a Triple H girl, sure, but like again, like the ship has kind of sailed, I feel like, you know, for Paige's return. Like I don't know that there's really anyone that cares at this point, and I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way, but it's kind of the same thing with like Mercedes returning and Sasha Banks. Like I just don't know that there are that many people that are like waiting for that to happen, you know?
Exactly. The only former people that are thriving in AEW are Mercedes, Mox,
Say Mercedes, honestly.
Danielson. Give it time, Sarah. Give it time.
I would say as of now, I would not say she's bigger than Sasha Banks ever was. Not yet.
Okay, Mox, Danielson, and Swerve. Swerve is undoubtedly the shut. When I say, hear me out. Out of that, he piques your eye the most. Like, oh, he's the biggest star. Because Mox and Danielson, I categorize as the people who outside, like, they just, I don't know how to like put it. I'm trying to put in. There's so many thoughts that are hitting my head. It's more the sense that like they wrestle a different style. Like that's wrestling. You know what I mean? Like that's like ground and pound. All this. Where Swerve, he did the Lucha Underground stuff and yeah, indies, but he wasn't like a wrestler. Like Mox and Danielson are wrestlers. Like they're gonna go and do MMA, bloodsport type shit. Swerve is going to have wrestling matches and do wrestling stuff, but he's more about the story outside of the ring than the other two.
I feel like Moxley is more of an entertainer than a wrestler.
No, he's 1000% wrestler.
No, I'm saying is okay. Well, I'm telling you my opinion. It's 60-40. He's more of an entertainer than a wrestler.
Oh, in your opinion. Okay. Okay. Fair.
Yeah, because
I thought you went.
He wants to hit people and bleed and lick their blood and have things sticking out of his head. Like that's not wrestling. That's entertainment.
But he also wants to go and do the New Japan style where there's no weapons or anything like that. You're chopping your forearms and you're going to go do GCW stuff with the blood sport and like jiu-jitsu thing. Like he's all about just combat. I do respect that. And Bryan Danielson may be wrestling his last wrestling match.
He probably should, honestly, because he's talking about having neck surgery and stuff.
That?
It's like that's really serious. So like at this point, what more is there for him to do in wrestling, you know?
At noon. That's fucking massive.
What?
All In is at noon my time.
Oh, well, yeah, it's in London.
It's in London, but I always, when it comes to foreign, the time differences are just a bunch of numbers. So I was trying to figure out Kenny Chesney Sunday. Let's ride. All right. What else we got? I don't want to keep talking about Paige. Yeah, and our good pal Edge. But Edge is gone. Adam Copeland's colliding over in AEW. I kind of want to talk about what's going on here in the WWE universe, Sarah, because Raw last night, pretty fucking good once again. Pretty fucking good.
Yes. So we kick off Raw, which we knew that it was going to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton just says the typical things, blah, blah, blah. Gunther comes out. Like, this is another segment that I felt like just didn't, I mean, it didn't really need to happen. I think they're trying to fill the time because they
building up.
Yeah, but to me,
Don't
it
know.
just like it didn't add anything for me. I don't think that it was a bad segment per se. I just mean like, okay, Randy comes out, says he's offended and that, the things that Gunther is saying is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Gunther comes out and he's like, no, you are trash. I'm going to win, whatever.
Yeah.
And Kaiser sneaks up and they sneak attack Randy, which leads to the main event, which we'll get to. But I think that this needed to happen because Randy getting an RKO out of nowhere on Gunther obviously doesn't make Gunther look very strong. So we needed to have this moment of Gunther being like, no, I can do that too. And I just assume this means that next week at the go home show that Randy is going to stand tall. That's basically what I think this just means is like Gunther looks good for a week. Next week, Randy looks good, all for Gunther to retain at Bash in Berlin. That's basically what the point of this segment was, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's more to establish that it's not just having a match between Gunther and Randy Orton, and then on top of that, you add in the bullshit kick out was his shoulders up where where there were. But now you're making it personal, and that's what Gunther does. He just makes things personal by really hitting you where it hurts. I mean, going after the dad and the grandfather, like he just says things that really piss you off and that get you riled up to then have banger after banger match.
I think it's the best way for them to go about getting him more heat because for the most part, everything before this with him was just like, I'm better than you. Like, I'm a better wrestler. I am the one that could be a better representation of this great sport, blah, 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 which like, that's great. And he can include that in his future feuds, but it can't be the only thing that he uses because it's like that. There are gonna, I mean, if you look at it from like a realism standpoint, he's gonna feud with someone or he could feud with someone in the future that would be like, yeah, you are a better wrestler than me, like, okay. Like they're not gonna disagree. So what does that do for the feud? It does nothing. So if you go after things like this where Randy's a third generation superstar, so it makes his family not untouchable the way that someone else would be, and it gets instant heat because it's like people love Randy but they know about his family, so it's like, all right, it's easy for people to boo Gunther, which was crazy loud on Raw. That was like near Dom.
Oh, he was getting booed, and the USA chants. The USA chants were my favorite because that's when you really saw Gunther get pissed.
Yeah.
And he knew, like, oh, yeah, you hate me now? Well, what's going to happen when he comes into my territory, my dojo, my area?
I can't wait.
It's not his country, goddammit.
No,
he's not from Germany.
Yeah, his origin, his region, his
region.
continent. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm very excited for Bash in Berlin. It's like I'm kind of bummed that it's still like a week and a half away.
Me too, but it's aren't you happy or excited for a show that's not a Big Four? Like, excited.
Yes, but also I've already accepted the show is not going to go in my favor for most matches. What?
You're hurting yourself.
No, I've already accepted it. So, as long as Gunther wins at this point, I don't care.
It's the final stage of grief.
Because otherwise, I think Punk is going to win, which we'll talk about, and I think that the Terror Twins are going to win, which we'll talk about. So if Gunther can win, at least the entire night isn't a complete disaster for me.
These are facts. Gunther needs to win. So I want to see him win too, Sarah. So.
I really think that Gunther going after Randy as his first opponent, that he needs to make a statement out of Randy. Because Randy isn't just a random guy that they're throwing at him. He's a 14-time champion. It's Randy Orton. Like, he could have gone in the Hall of Fame a decade ago, and he's only building it up since then. So I think that if they want to make Gunther look strong, it's the best place to do that, of course, is at Bash in Berlin, where he's going to be so over. It's going to be crazy. And I think a great way to do that would be against Randy with no help. I don't want Kaiser out there. Kaiser can be out there, but he can't help him, because that was something that people were mad about in the match against Damian when he won the World Heavyweight title. People were mad that he got help from Finn. So I
They're
think
not paying attention.
Yeah, but that's just what
I know, but that's what you get when you're dealing with the fickle pickles.
I also don't think that this is true yet.
Yeah, we have
we'll
a week
we'll
and a half
see.
away.
Kaiser's going to be there. I really would not be surprised if Kaiser introduces him,
because that's his actual home country.
Yeah, that is. It's Germany.
Guys,
he's going to be there. I think in general.
Tiffany's going to be there. So like,
why is Tiffany going to be there?
I literally just saw her tweet something that she's getting ready for
WWE. Oh, interesting.
So if she's not on the card, she's going to be there doing media at least.
Well, that's kind of lame. That's a long flight for just media. But anyway, after this, you kind of thought that maybe since Kaiser was out there, maybe he was going to get this match with Sheamus. But no, it was Pete Dunne that gets the match with Sheamus. And it was a banger. I mean, I don't know that you could say that it wasn't going to be a banger when the origin of banger after banger after banger are the two guys in the match. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
These
are facts.
It served. I love when Sheamus talks shit in the ring too. Like when he yelled at him, "Are you still Butch or are you just a bitch?" I'm like, yes, Sheamus. When he says those types of things, I'm like, yeah. Yes.
Because we need that. You need that. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Especially from a baby face. Like it's easy for a heel to talk shit, but like when you get it from a guy that is in a very personal feud, I love it.
That's a bar line.
I guess that the one thing that I was a little surprised about was Sheamus getting the win. I assume it's not going to be the last, but I was a little bit surprised about it simply because it felt like the point of this was, one, Ludwig Kaiser got injured, so they had to throw someone else to Sheamus. So why not throw in Pete Dunne, because they have a history there. So, that made sense. Also, for Sheamus to help put him over and like get him more legitimized on the main roster, especially since he moved to Raw. So I was a little bit surprised. Like, it was a great match, and nobody is sitting here being like, oh, Pete is not a legitimate wrestler, or he's this, he's that, whatever. They're not saying anything like that. But did Sheamus really need to win the first one? I don't know.
See, to me, it's what you're saying, that Sheamus winning just means it's going to continue.
Yeah.
Because Butch, oh my God, I called him Butch. Jeez, because you got Butch in my head. That was bad. That's a hand up. That's a hand up there, Sarah. Pete Dunne, see even get there. To me, he seems that he would not be satisfied with this Sheamus feud ending until he is on top. And you need to launch him. You need to have him be part of some sort of championship picture, especially Intercontinental feud, because you throw him in there, you get Ilya in there too, all in this tournament. Well, we're going to talk about it, but Braun needs competitors for that Intercontinental title. And I mean, guys like Pete Dunne, that would be, speaking of banger matches, that's a banger match right there.
Yeah.
It's a banger match right there.
For sure.
I'm loving
He
it.
says, Richard says Sheamus needed the win more because he'll be going after Braun soon. Oh, that's right, huh? Interesting.
Oh, because I've never won the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I know.
What's that?
I don't know.
Do you not want to see him win the Intercontinental Championship?
I mean, sure. By the end of his career, I would like him to do that, but I don't really. I'm not like invested in it, is what I mean. Like, I don't care.
You'd prefer Braun spearing the shit out of Sheamus.
Well, I think that if he's this is the thing. If Sheamus is going to go for the IC title, I think it shouldn't be until they're going to give it to him. It seems kind of like he can be in the tournament, I guess, and lose, but I don't want to see him against Braun. I don't want to see him against the IC champion until it's his time to win. And obviously, Braun Breaker is not losing anytime soon. So
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
How are we made?
I saw this and actually giggled. That was really good. American made.
This was like so gross. I can't even lie. It was so cringy. I was like, okay, I appreciate the effort, but let's stop. Stop. I'm telling you, this is like Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter 2.0. This is how it's coming off.
We the people.
Yeah, I'm so confused. It's like literally one step away from being the All American Americans. I'm just like, what are we doing?
That was also not their name. That was his name.
The All American American. I know.
So when what was it when they were Cesar? Was they the real the Patriot? No, they were the whatever. Move it.
I don't.
Of course you do like American made. Of course you do.
Jeff likes everything that I don't care for. So anyway, so we see the continuation of Alpha Academy versus American Made. And now we see that Ivy Nile is a full-fledged member of American Made. Which
I don't like it.
I mean, whatever. So we see her versus Maxine Dupree. And the match ends in essentially a no contest or disqualification. I don't know, because American Made are still the targets of the Wyatt Six. And this time it was Nikki Cross that got she interfered, I'm sorry, instead of the guys at first. And she went after Ivy Nile because she turned on her friend, that is Maxine. Not to mention she was also trying to get Maxine to turn on her family. So it's kind of like a double whammy there. And then, of course, the Wyatt Six guys get involved. We see another Sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy, a jacketless Uncle Howdy, which I thought
jacketless jacked. You look pretty,
right?
pretty
I was
lean.
like, what is going on,
lean.
Bo? What's going on? But I don't know if that was like meant to be anything significant. It was only to me because that's the first time that we actually saw Uncle Howdy portrayed as like a human. You know what I mean? Where it was like every other time it's always been the mask and the makeup and the hat and the jacket. It was like everything kind of tried to make him out to be more of a mythical being or something like that, you know? So I like that they're going a little bit more with the human route that we've seen, obviously, with the videos that they've shown and whatever. But this shows that we are going to see Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable next week. So Uncle Howdy's debut on Raw. We have not seen Bo Dallas wrestle on WWE for 5 years. So
that's crazy. I liked Nikki getting involved now in this because they introduced everyone else, the guys, into this, and Nikki was just like, it's kind of just.
She was just like a ring girl to like scare you.
Yeah, like she's just a figure there. Like just
and
she
I meant
wasn't really
like
doing much.
And I meant like the girl from the movie The Ring. That's what I meant, by the way.
Oh yeah, she does look like her.
That's like what they've been using her for, is just like a
and
fear-inducing
prop
person.
Like just a fear prop.
Yeah.
Where she did the move to Gable, but now she does it to Ivy. So now you're seeing what that does is shows that Nikki Cross, sister, whatever we're fucking calling her, she's in the women's, like she can go after anyone in the women's division. That's physical. She's getting in the. I want to see if this would go into a match and what she would be like in a match. Like, what is her style? Because Nikki Cross had an erratic style, which made sense for her, but it was still like, oh, it's a wrestler. This is so supernatural or whatnot that I don't know how this would go. But if anyone could do a good job at it, it's Nikki Cross. So I'm in.
Well, and she's the first woman, really, like to be a part of the group. Like, obviously, we saw Alexa Bliss, but that was such a different angle, the way they were going about it with the Fiend and stuff like that. So this is completely different. And I'm interested to see her wrestle. I want to see her wrestle some more like solidified girls on the roster, you know, like nothing against Ivy Nile, but obviously she's not an established name in WWE really since she was called up from NXT. But we're not really at a point, I think, where there's a storyline of a woman turning on her family. You know, there's not another woman for her to go after right now, and the focus appears to still be on American Made. So that's fine, and I am excited to see Uncle Howdy. I'm curious to see how he's going to wrestle because it seems like, yeah, it's Uncle Howdy, it's not Bo Dallas. So is he going to wrestle with the mask? Is he going to take it off? Is it going to be with the hair and the hat? Like, what are we doing? I'm very intrigued. What's his gear? Does he wear the jacket? You know, like I don't know. I think this is going to be fascinating.
It's going
But
to be a must watch.
it's going to be so incredible too because the second you just hear the one note of the piano, the crowd went bananas. So
they go ballistic.
And that's the thing, like I think when people are talking about the Wyatt Six, like I get that there's going to be people who aren't into it, and I'm not saying that's unfair, but I do think that people are not connecting why people are so invested in it, you know, and it's because of Bray Wyatt and the passing, and like people understand what the Wyatt Six means and like how powerful it must be for the people involved in the group, you know. So I feel like that's why it's so easy for people to support the group, and that's why I've said on multiple occasions that the success of the Wyatt Six is very much dependent on the reaction from the fans. Everybody's character is dependent on that, but I think in this particular instance, it's even more so on the fans because this is a style like of character and gimmick, whatever you want to call it, that could fall flat quickly. You know, this is something that could thrive in NXT, but bomb on the main roster. We haven't seen this in NXT. They teased it for months and months before they actually had them debut and wrestle and stuff like that, you know? So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how they react to him in a match. We saw how they reacted to the tag match a couple weeks ago, and that was fire. And I can't imagine that they're not going to be even more excited to see Bo Dallas in the ring. You know, like that is going to be
What's his style gonna be like?
It's like emotional too, you know? Like I think that that's why it's like it means so much more. And I think that's why people can get behind it. So, as much as I don't particularly love an Uncle Howdy debut on Raw, I can accept it because I think, you know, it is what it is. It's exciting to see what it's going to be.
Raw's also being presented on a way bigger stage than years ago when someone would debut on Raw. Like when they debut on Raw now, it actually feels like a big deal. So I'm not too worried about that. Thanks to social media. That's Sarah, this shit fascinates me the most. Like Howdy debuts after a year after his death. The Wyatt Six debut in the same arena as the Wyatt family.
Oh God, it's so like see, this is the thing is like that is why I'm going to be supportive of the Y6 forever. It doesn't matter. It could absolutely go to shit and I could think that it is horrible and what they're doing is bad, but I'm still going to support them because it's like I am so I still cannot imagine how difficult this is for Eric and Bo specifically. So I could never boo them, you know. It's exactly like what Richard said. Like you're not going to boo them because essentially you're booing Bray, and that is not something I would ever do unless he was a heel and you were supposed to boo him. You know what I mean? Like that is probably the only time I would boo him.
I wish American Made would preempt the Wyatt Six and attack during their grand entrance. Here's the thing that's wrong with that, and
I don't
it
think
can't
they
happen.
Because...
No, you can't, because of that element of psychology, and like there's another word I can't think of right now, but that's what they're being presented as, like a figment of your imagination, and going into attacking them and whatnot. It's way too early to do that. You know what I mean? Like you need to you kind of have to have that distance. Going right in for an attack, yeah, it makes him stronger, but like, oh, just because we're just gonna attack him, like it makes no sense. It's just overbooking it. Way over. That's all I got.
I would also say I'm not sure about damage control because they're listed as baby faces internally. So, yeah. So I don't know if that'll happen because if the White Six are supposed to be baby faces too, they're not going to attack a baby face team. And Dakota's out because she's injured. So we'll have to see. Anyway, we then move on to CM Punk and he comes out and I'm sorry, I can't. I know everybody loves CM Punk. Well, not everybody loves CM Punk.
Look in my eyes. What do you see?
You know what's hard? The thing that's hard for me to buy into, and it's not even because I'm not like a CM Punk fan. It's like I can appreciate what he does and the contributions he's made to wrestling. I've said that a million times. I just can't buy into him being a babyface. I don't like it. I think I don't. I also feel like we didn't need to have this full like personal conversation from him to the fans again. He didn't say anything new. It just felt like we need Punk on TV. We need him to kind of like talk about why he's going to challenge Drew, and we need him to be as babyface and whatever as possible.
Pretty much just introduce the strap match.
But we didn't need everything that we've already heard from him before, is what I'm saying. Like that is just like, okay, we get it. So it would have been fine if he had come out and just talked about what has gone on between him and Drew and that he wants to challenge him to a strap match for his bracelet, which I'm sorry, I think is so hilarious. People talking about the biggest stories in wrestling in WWE right now are over accessories because of the Ula Fala and the CM Punk's bracelet.
Well, one's legitimately.
I know.
Sacred.
I'm not saying I said that. I'm not talking. We don't have to
dive into talking about the people. I'm not talking to you.
I know. I understand one is far superior. I'm just saying on a surface level, it's hilarious to say.
It's fucking comedy. It's so funny.
But yeah, so we're gonna get CM Punk versus DM Punk at Bash in Berlin with a strap match. And I guess I want to ask your excitement level in the chat. Everybody's excitement level for this match and the stipulation. I get the stipulation and how it kind of organically just came about because of Drew taking off his belt and Punk whipping him with it, whatever. I particularly am not fond of strap matches. Historically, they have not been that good in recent history in WWE. So I'm not like thrilled about it, but you know, it's DM Punk on the card. I'm excited to see the match, even if I think Punk is gonna win.
Have you ever seen or heard of a dog collar match?
Yes. They're not bringing those into WWE though.
Correct. So that's why we get a strap match.
Yeah.
I watched CM Punk MJF, that dog collar match. That was phenomenal. And then not only the CM Punk strap, whatever, but the FTR Briscoes one. I gained more appreciation for that type of match watching those matches rather than the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross strap match that we had. Whatever that ended up being, I don't know, it was awful. Now with the new regime of Triple H and CM Punk, a willing, volunteering, CM Punk wanting to do business and all that, like it's going to be done well. It's two guys that can do it well. That's the thing. And the whole story about how they just want to beat the shit out of each other. I saw a tweet today about how the person believes that the strap is just adding on, like, oh, now they have to add this accessory to it. Like, just let these dudes fight. Yeah, because in a strap match, you have to hit the four corners, which I actually think that's a Texas bull rope that's completely different. I think it's like, I'm pretty sure strap match, you just beat the shit out of them.
It's meant to just be that you're attached to each other. And
that's what I thought. Yeah. So like, I don't know. Yeah. You're getting your types of matches confused.
Me?
No, the person who said the tweet.
Oh, I was like, I didn't
No,
say
you're
anything.
with me. You're
Okay.
here with me.
Yeah.
I love that idea now that because of wrestling fans, you're constantly learning more and more and more. Keep digging that hole. And it's the proper way to build up this feud because everyone is clamoring for a Hell in a Cell, and they have only fought once after Seth Rollins. We got to remember that a Hell in a Cell is like that's it. All right. Like
And Bad
they
Blood.
fighting it. See, they're just setting us up. They're teeing it up for us right there.
That's why I think that Punk is going to win this one. That's why.
And if he does, yeah, then he gets the bracelet back. But Drew's still not done with him because he didn't get because he lost.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like I'm going into this pay-per-view knowing that Punk is more than likely going to win, and that's fine with me as long as they fight again at Bad Blood and Drew walks out the victor. That's the only thing I care. I don't care about anything else. Because as I said from the beginning, if they were going to go through with this Punk versus Drew thing, Drew needs to come out the winner. Punk can get a few wins, some of the battles or whatever, but DM Punk needs to be the victor in this because it means like Punk doesn't need to win a feud. You know what I mean? Like he's already screwed up so many things for Drew. It doesn't really make sense to have him win the entire feud. Like you basically have by screwing him out of titles 3 times, I don't think that Drew winning a singles match against him is really like calling it even,
That's exactly like
so
proper build, guys.
But yeah, so I think it depends like how they go about it, but as you said, I do think that these guys are more capable of putting on a better match than what we've seen. Somebody even brought it up in the comments about Drew versus Karrion Kross. That was a horrible strap match, but I don't think that was necessarily like Drew's fault either. And I'm not trying to like shit on Karrion, but I think that it was like not great. So I think that if anybody is capable of making it better, it's these guys. So I'm hoping it is. I was trying to see.
Friggin' too.
I think that Bad Blood was definitely brought, I think, for them, but I think that we're also going to probably see Liv and Rhea. We might see Damian and Finn because those are more stories that that could work. Micah says, Sarah, do you think WWE should book Bronson versus Braun in a break the ring spot next week on Raw, where Bronson does the tsunami 10 times and on the 10th time the ring breaks and Bronson gets the pin? Yeah. I mean, I am not a big fan of overusing spots like this because I think when it happened with the Big Show and Brock Lesnar, it felt more organic. Like it felt like that naturally just happened. And since they've tried to replicate that, it kind of feels like, okay, we know that it's not real at this point, and I get why they wanted to replicate it, but I think because of what they're trying to do with Bronson Reed, it would make sense for them to go about it this way. I wouldn't love it, but I think that it would make sense for sure. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I'm not a big fan of why does he do it 10 times? Why 10 times?
Well, maybe he's just saying 10 times. But maybe it's because he's already done it 6 times and it didn't break the ring. So it probably has to happen more.
But if it's Braun is big enough to break the ring by himself after like 3. Because he's done 6.
But I think he was just suggesting it because of like, if he hasn't broken it already, then he would need to do it more than 6 times. I don't know. I can't speak for him.
I don't like to break the ring.
I also hate the idea of Punk winning the feud. I don't think there's any reason he needs to win the feud at all. Because as I said, he basically already has. He screwed him out of 3 titles. So
yeah, I'm such a fan of Punk. I don't care who wins this feud.
Of course you don't. It's very rude.
Sorry.
I'm not even saying it from a perspective of someone who doesn't like Punk. I'm saying it more from like, I think given how this has progressed over the last almost 8 months, that Drew needs the win more than Punk needs it. Punk already got 3 wins by making sure that he didn't get the title, or he lost it. So to me, I'm like, Drew winning a Hell in a Cell match, okay, like that still doesn't give him the title,
Unfortunately.
But anyway, we saw the 3-on-3 match between the New Day and Odyssey Jones versus the Final Testament, Karrion Kross and AOP. And although we saw that little backstage segment of Kofi trying to be like, "Hey, what's going on, Woods? What's going on? Why don't you like Odyssey?" And it seemed like they kind of smoothed things over. Kofi went straight to the heart and was like, I'm just trying to help the guy, okay? There was still some tension in this match. So, Xavier looking like not too pleased that he was not the one tagged in, and instead Kofi tagged in Odyssey. So it appears as though this is not over, even if Scarlett might have convinced Karrion to leave the New Day alone, which also kind of makes it seem like, okay, we already know the damage is done. We've laid the seeds of doubt in Xavier's mind. Something is happening. To me, I still think that it's valid to say that either Kofi or Xavier could be the ones to turn heel, because you could argue Kofi turns heel with Odyssey because we're sick of Xavier, or you could argue that Xavier is going to turn because he's pissed off at Kofi for trying to replace Big E, whatever. Although I hate that angle, because technically you could be making Kofi the heel in that situation. Like, everybody loves Big E, so to suggest that he's trying to replace a fan favorite, wouldn't that mean that Kofi's the bad one? I feel
I don't know. It's the whole purpose of this storyline between the New Day and Final Testament was basically to just plant the seeds in the New Day. Like, the job of Karrion Kross was not to get Xavier Woods to lash out after the win or just walk away during the match.
Yeah.
His job was to implant the doubt in Xavier Woods' mind, and Odyssey Jones getting tagged in. Brilliant. I loved it. And now that Scarlett said, go, let them be, we have more to do. First off, yeah, of course, whatever Scarlett says, I'm going with. However, on the serious note, you just need to do enough to put a crack in the foundation. Then it's just going to crumble from the inside. And if you watch what Karrion's done with all his feuds, he did not get them obviously to turn or go to the dark side right away. It was a loss or whatever the result was. I don't have that photographic of a memory. But then weeks later, it's like, oh my God, AJ Styles is a heel now. Oh my God. And all of Ray's friends and family keep beating him up. Like, now we're going to see more positivity become negativity.
It was Drew too.
Drew went crazy because the strap match, we just said it. And then Drew just like, the world hates me. It's like, dude, whatever you say goes.
Yeah.
See, like, that's the job of Karrion Kross, is to be that constant darkness where there is light in the WWE locker room. Why not go for the brightest bulb in the batch with the New Day and just see that shit just flicker and fade away?
It's weird though, because it feels like Karrion is being used in these spots and it's benefiting his opponents and not him. That's the thing that's like really weird about the whole thing. Like, he's using that as his storyline. Like, oh, every time I've beaten these guys, they've gone crazy afterwards. Yeah. And then they went to like superstardom, or they became involved in like a really big storyline, but Karrion isn't, it's kind of almost working in a reverse.
All in due time.
I'm like, not sure
Karrion Kross is going to be I like a main player in Triple H's main roster. It's all about building him up. It's a slow build.
Okay.
I see it with Karrion. No, it's a slow roast.
All right.
Like, come on.
Calm
you gotta
down.
brine that shit.
Okay. Micah keeps asking this if is my only action figure. No, I have 3 other ones.
Yes, boy.
Yeah,
We have
I
those
got
2.
my
But it's not SmackDown.
and Vinci.
So.
I'm not like an
Again, not
action
SmackDown.
figures person, so I only got them because they don't have Funkos of them. So
you're more of a Funko person.
Yeah, I really like Funkos, but they don't have any of Pretty Deadly or Imperium. So that's why I wanted to get them. And because I want to show my fandom, that's why they're a part of the show. Because as of right now, I don't have a background. I'm gonna work on it this weekend. But yeah, so and I'm even considering seeing if someone could make me custom Pretty Deadly action figures.
What if we got our own custom action figures?
I would be afraid of that because I would not want to see how bad I would look as an action figure. So
I want to see it.
That's messed up. You want to see how bad my action figure is?
I want to see my own.
All right. Well, we kind of already talked about this a little bit. We saw Bronson Reed take out The Miz, who was fighting on behalf of his friend, R-Truth. So Bronson Reed hit him with tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. And instead of being able to just, keep doing it and then walk away as he has the last few weeks, Braun Strowman was like, honey, you better stop it, girl. And that is what leads us to what looks like is going to be Bronson's first real feud post tsunami. I don't know.
Post tsunami?
Yeah, post tsunami attacks.
That's what they are. They're just tsunami attacks.
Post natural disaster. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
call them that? Is that
essentially what? Should we call him that?
Is natural disaster trademarked within WWE? That'd be a great name, like nickname for him.
I don't know.
But
know. Essentially this means that we're gonna get
big meaty man slapping meat.
Damn right we are.
And I'm into it. I'm not a Braun Strowman fan, so I am all about Bronson Reed, even though obviously I don't love that he did it to my guy Seth Rollins. But yeah, no, we've been big Bronson Reed fans for a while, so I want to see him just beat that up. And I think it could be a fire match. I don't care. I love the big meaty men matches. We don't get to see them that often where they're actually good matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not squash matches with Otis doing the worm 4 minutes in.
Or it's not like Great Khali who can barely move versus Big Show who can barely move. You know what I mean? Like that's not a big meaty men match that anyone wants to see. I want to see big meaty men who can still do a lot of stuff in the ring or do things that you're like, what? He could do that? So like if you threw Ivar in this match, oh my God. That kind of thing. So I mean, I think this is fine. I think this is a good opponent for Bronson Reed. If this is the way that they want to use Braun Strowman, then so be it. They haven't really done anything with him since he came back. So I'm into it, I guess.
I just want to say, I have no real strong opinions other than I want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I agree. Richard said that Braun will lose because Bronson needs to keep looking good until Seth comes back. I agree. Did we get okay? Anyway, then we move on. This is just quickly. We can talk
That's
about
what it was.
Sorry, Ludwig Kaiser.
He's not done.
He is not Dune with Sheamus.
Oh, stop it now.
He is not Dune with Sheamus. So you kind of thought that they were going to be done with this because obviously Sheamus had a match with Pete Dune earlier in the night, but Ludwig Kaiser was like, we are not done, just so you know. Just because you had a match tonight and I have a match tonight, that does not mean that we are done. I'm excited about this because the original plan was for Sheamus to go against Kaiser, and I don't know if it was supposed to put him over in the same way that he has been for Pete Dune, but I would like to believe that it is. Although I don't know that Kaiser needs it as much as Pete Dunne does, but I'm into it because these are two European men who wrestle European style going against each other, and I want to see this feud like full, like to its end, because I think that this has really good potential to be really good, like a sneaky good feud and matches, you know? Like I feel like people are kind of undervaluing how good this possibly could be.
This will be a very good feud. I like it for Kaiser. It'll build him up to be more on a legitimate side. As I said, you need to build up that mid card title picture. You need to build that up, and Kaiser needs to be launched at some point. You already did a vignette with him. You need to be doing more with him. And you show like the dude can do it. He's shown that he can do it.
And he just got the praise from The Undertaker. The
Yeah,
Undertaker said
yo, Taker no ball.
Yeah.
Taker knows ball.
He spoke on his podcast about how he had a long conversation with Kaiser, and then he got to see him like up close, you know, performing, and that he's just like a star. He's a star in the making. And I'm like, yes, welcome aboard, Undertaker.
He has it. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
And I mean, it was kind of like, it's interesting because if you look at how far Imperium as the 3 have come, because one of them obviously fell off, they've come a long way. And especially even from like a physique perspective, it feels like the second that Gunther and Kaiser worked out like crazy is when they started to be on a rocket to the moon. You know, it's insane because Kaiser's in really good shape and he was never out of shape. It wasn't like he lost, 30 pounds or whatever, 50 pounds, whatever Gunther's lost. But Kaiser did not have the body that he has now. He did not have.
He's slimmed down a lot.
Yeah, he has. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And I think it's good for Kaiser. I'm glad that they're not like keeping him as just a minion of
like a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're not going through with that. Yes. So then we kind of already talked about this, but Braun Breaker was talking about how they are going to have a tournament to determine the number 1 contender to face him whenever for the Intercontinental Championship. And they are saying it's going to begin next week. We already know that Jey Uso is going to be a part of it, which please, dear God, do not do that.
When you say do not do that, do you mean win it? But you don't mind him in it though.
No, I would expect him to be in it.
Okay, then okay, we're on the same page.
I just mean I don't have Braun Breaker lose anytime soon, and certainly do not let it be to Jey Uso. Please don't do that. That's the main thing.
There's no, but it's all about teasing. It's all just teasing.
I am curious to know who do you think else will be in it. I assume Ilya Dragunov will be in it.
Dragunov.
Like, who are going to be true, viable opponents for Braun Breaker? I'm thinking strictly baby faces. Because I really don't think that they're going to put a heel versus heel.
They said 16, situation. I saw in the chat, right?
No, they said they hope it's 16.
Oh, so we don't know a number?
No, they haven't. Okay. From what I know, they have not announced.
It's not Dragon Lee. Get the... Dragon Lee wishes... Micah said we're guessing people.
He's guessing that Dragon Lee will be in the match in one of the matches.
I don't think he will be. I don't think DragonLee, not a shot. I do see Dominic. Yes.
That would be cool.
That's it. Those are.
Oh, go ahead.
I like all of these except for Dragon Lee.
Why? What do you have against Dragon Lee?
This makes no sense. Where's he been?
All it is for in the tournament. It doesn't mean that he's going to win or to face
but everyone in the tournament should have been or at least is a regular fixture on television.
Okay, so then should we say that Jay shouldn't be in it because all he does is backstage segments?
But he's on television.
That doesn't matter though.
That counts.
He's not.
That counts.
But Dragon Lee has been on screen. That's not his fault. I don't mind him being in a match. Just like if the person is probably going to beat him anyway, who cares? They can't put 2 people who should be qualifying for the title against each other, or 2 people that could win until it's the final 2. They don't have enough people. Dragon Lee could be an extra body. Like, he's not going to win his matchup, but I don't think it's a problem to put him in there.
You're just gonna drop in a random.
They're going to have to. Hello, you've been watching WWE for how long? You know that this is how they do it. That you know this is how they do it. It's completely possible that they put him in there because again, they're going to need more baby faces. You know that it's not going to be Kaiser is not going to face Braun Breaker. You know that Pete Dunne is not going to face Braun Breaker. You know Dom is not going to face Braun Breaker, so they have to put in baby faces that like make it seem, oh, okay, like they might have a chance. They have to. Because it's gonna end up being Ilya or Sheamus or Jay. Like those are the ones that are gonna face Braun. It's not going to be any of the other ones, you know?
Fair. I disagree with this.
I think that those are the main ones. I don't know about Ray. Ray's been off TV, so I don't know what he's doing.
He's in the same category as Dragon Lee.
Yeah, but it's Rey Mysterio. Stop it.
I'd put Ray in over Dragon Lee.
Okay, that's fine. I would love that. I would love for Dom to take it up. I think that we do need to put a title on Dom.
Dom needs a title so bad. So bad. At this point,
they need to take advantage of what they're doing with him right now. And I mean, based on what people are talking about, because I don't know if you've seen it, and obviously it's quite a ways away, but people are already talking about what they think some of the matches are going to be at WrestleMania 41. And there's a lot of people who think that it's possible we see Rhea and Liv carried out to WrestleMania. I think that if that happens, obviously they're going to take breaks in between and then it might be like whatever. But the one situation that I saw people saying is that Rhea wins the Royal Rumble and that Liv is still champion, and that's how we get there. I think it just depends on what happens, but I wouldn't be mad about that, honestly, because I would love for Liv to be champion for a while and to have a legitimate reign. And I love what they're doing right now with the Judgment Day versus old Judgment Day. So if that means that we can get eight more months of that, then I'm into it.
It's a long time. It's a long time to feud.
Well, that's why I said there would be breaks in between. Like it would be like, you know, where they revisit it again because Liv is off doing this and Rhea does this. That's why people were even saying Raquel might get involved and maybe we see Raquel versus Rhea and that's kind of a distraction.
Yeah, we've seen, I saw online, she's doing better with her skin issue. So
yeah.
That means she gets back fast. I mean, great.
Yes. And then, speaking of the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins, we see vignettes from both of them. And I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with the Judgment Day 2.0. I am obsessed with the Judgment Day 2.0. Especially the video that they posted after they beat up the Terror Twins. They were all like, and they were like, Judgment Day.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
I was like, McDaddy.
The effects.
McDaddy. I literally tweeted as this was happening. I was like, oh my God, they're really going to beat up Dom right now. And I'm pissed off about it because I was like, they cannot keep doing this with the Judgment Day. They cannot keep making them look weak. Had to delete my tweet within like 10 seconds because then the Judgment Day got one over.
Trigger happy.
Shut up. And so I was very happy to see that the Judgment Day did not look weak against these two. I mean, I get it. They're both much bigger than any of the people in the Judgment Day 2.0, but it's also a really one-sided feud if they never let Judgment Day get a leg up over them. So I'm glad that they looked good this week. I assume that, the Terror Twins are going to win at Bash in Berlin, which is fine. It's whatever because Liv is still champion, but I think what they're doing is great. I love what they're doing. So that's the biggest takeaway from this for me is like they're just hitting on all cylinders with the Judgment Day stuff, and it's exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm all about it. I want to see that match. I want to see Dom get riptide, like terribly. I want to see Dom get riptide so bad.
I would love to see. I don't want to see that, but I just saw the clip from Chris Van Vliet's interview with Beth Phoenix, and they were talking about when she did her finisher, because I forget what did she call it, the glam.
The Glamazon.
No, whatever her finisher is called. I don't remember. The Glam Slam. There we go.
Oh, she is the Glamazon.
Yes.
Tough.
When she picked him up and he was like, "Mommy," and then she like, I was like, "Can we get a recreation of that, Dom? Like, if we're gonna get Rhea doing something to you, can we like have something like that? That would be fun." But yeah. I am glad as well, Richard. Carlito, I feel like is just there for like comedic time.
That would his line to end the video of, and that's cool. I was like, yeah, Carlito's such an important figure to 2.0 Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Wow, the hair.
Johnny thinks that it's going to end in a DQ. How is it going to be a DQ? That's what I'm curious. Why do you think it's going to? No, I'm not mad about that. I'm just curious. Why do you think? Is it because Finn's going to get involved or JD is going to get involved? In that case, it's not horrible, but I do think that because Bad Blood is the next PLE in October, most were thinking that we were going to get Finn versus Damian and Liv versus Rhea. So I don't know how that would set that up, but well, I don't think Liv doesn't have to take the pin. It could be Dom.
Oh, Dom can take a pin.
Dom can take the pin.
Dom can take the pin from Rhea.
I don't love it, but
lose it. If Rhea pinned Dom, that would be the perfect ending.
I don't know if they're
everyone wins.
Well, they haven't talked about if that's going to be allowed though, because as I said, they can't have it be one-sided. We know we're not going to see Damian do anything to Liv. It's not happening. So I don't think that Rhea can really. She can do like a riptide maybe to Dom, but that's it. We're not going to see them actually like wrestle for like minutes, is what I mean. Because if you're not going to do it with the other way around, then I don't know. That doesn't pique my interest.
Do you think Damian would hit Liv with a South Heaven?
No, absolutely not. Stop it right now.
I feel like she'd be okay. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be riptide. It's whatever. Then okay. So the women's tag team match. I'm sorry, the Unholy Union. They are queens. Okay, Isla Dawn, underrated, one of the prettiest girls on the roster. I don't even care. I'm not sitting here trying to judge them, but like, girl, she is so pretty. But I do think that this match, it had its moments. We know that Damage Control is now considered a babyface faction, so they were the babyfaces in this group. I still hate Pure Fusion Collective. I think it's awful.
It's the worst name. It is the worst name you could possibly name a faction.
And I think that the crowd was just not really into this match that much. It seemed like they were definitely into the moments with Damage Control, which of course you would be because of the way that they wrestle. And it didn't seem like there was really that many people that were disappointed about the Unholy Union retaining. I just feel like they just don't know how to build up the women's tag team division. Like, they don't know how to get people to care. And this was just another example of it. The
problem is that it crosses over between 3 brands.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
too many people.
I think part of the issue too is like having 2 sets of women's tag titles. As great as that sounds, they've already proven that they don't give a shit about them in general, and they only have 1. You know, so it feels like if they had 2, would they really be booking them any better? Like, I don't know.
No, they don't need 2. They just need a solid feud or champions to carry it. The champions I'm not worried about with the Unholy Union. They're doing a fine job with it, but they do need to find that rival that makes it a feud worth tuning in for.
I think it just comes down to the same issue that I've talked about before, is that they don't like to actually have women's tag teams. I think that's the main issue. It's always constantly breaking them up. And so I think that at this point we see the unholy union doesn't look like they're going to break up, but the other teams that they were against were not natural tag teams. You know, like Damage Control, they keep changing who the tag team is. So that I wouldn't consider is a natural tag team or a long-term tag team. Pure Fusion Collective is a brand new faction, so that's not a new thing. The only other legitimate tag team is Kaden and Katana. And they're not.
Why are the belts not on them? Like, what are we doing?
They took them off. Remember?
That's what I mean. Why are they not the
I don't
longest
know.
reigning tag team champions?
I just think
That's
that they
not-
need to. No, what I'm saying, Richard, is that if any team comes in or they're like a good tag team or whatever, they break them up because they want to push women, solo women. They like never want to just like be okay, because I think that they need to explore more women thriving in a tag team capacity as opposed to in a singles competition, because that's why we get some of these women that are never utilized on Raw or SmackDown, because they're not going to be at the top of the division, and they're probably not, I mean, they could be mid-card or lower mid-card, but like what's the fun in that if they can be like a top of the tag team division if you put them in a tag team? That's the problem that I have. They don't like to have women's tag teams. It just feels like they do not like it at all.
I agree. They do have an issue with booking it. There we go.
No girls on the roster are that pretty. What are you looking at? I'm a straight woman, and I think that they're pretty.
Every single one of them.
I don't think that Blair will join. I think she's just kind of being that third one, especially since Damage Control has.
She's an ally.
Had 3 before Dakota got hurt. Pure Fusion Collective had 3, so I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Then we have the Pat McAfee era is done for the next several months. I'm so fine with it. It seems like most people are fine with it. Did that surprise you?
No, I mean that does. He's an electric addition to Monday Night Raw.
Horrific. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
I will try.
I am not a fan of Pat McAfee. Like at first I was, and then I'm just not into it. Most people were not fans of him since he returned in this second run. People did not like what he evolved into, and I don't blame them, because I do think like it just at times it's too much. It's like stop talking or stop trying to make a dick joke or something. Like it's just not necessary all the time, especially when it's like if a segment is supposed to be serious or an entrance or something like that, like we don't need somebody trying to make a joke at the expense. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't always necessary. He just doesn't have that etiquette, I guess, that people are accustomed to. Like if Michael Cole is not talking, okay, McAfee, you should probably shut up too. I'm fine with it personally because I just don't enjoy his commentary. I do think it's going to be interesting to see how they shift things around, because they said that McAfee is going to be coming back in January or February, whenever. And we know that Joe Tessitore is going to be the main commentator on Raw. We don't know who's joining him yet. People assume it's going to be Graves, and that means that Cole will be on SmackDown with Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
But if McAfee comes back, then that's like, okay, then what? Like that would mean that Cole is staying on SmackDown, because if Joe Tessitore is still thriving on Raw, then they're not going to replace him with Cole, I assume. But are they going to put Tessitore and McAfee? That seems like a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, because neither of them are experienced with wrestling. They need a wrestling mind there. So maybe they bring back a 3-man crew that they were trying to get away from.
I do agree that on Monday Night Raw, you do need like a Michael Cole.
Not necessarily a Michael Cole. They could add a Corey Graves.
Corey Graves would be good. Corey Graves, yeah.
They need a wrestling mind. And I think that Graves is the one that could work with that. We already seen how he works with McAfee, so like that would be fine. I assume that Tessitore is going to be the neutral party. Like he's not going to be.
Oh, he's going to be so neutral.
He's not going to be in character, the way that like Graves will take on the heel commentator. But if Cole is staying on SmackDown, I would think that they'll keep Barrett with him. because I think that makes more sense than moving him to Raw. But are they going to want to split Cole and McAfee? I don't know, but it doesn't.
I don't think you can.
I think you can more so than moving Testador to SmackDown. They're gonna want Testador to carry their flagship show on Netflix.
Agreed. Oh yeah, McAfee's gonna be on Netflix. Oh,
so that's what I mean. It's very complicated.
It is so complicated. My head hurts.
I know. I don't know what they're gonna try to do, but there's a lot to try and figure it out. I wish that McAfee was just kind of staying away, to be honest. But unfortunately,
I love it. I love it.
I know. It's very predictable. Awesome. He's a guy that you would like. I'm not like surprised in the slightest. Anyway, so Ludwig Kaiser took on Randy Orton in the main event, and fabulous match. Come on,
this was awesome. This was a really good match.
So for anybody that is questioning the star power of Ludwig Kaiser, I hope that this settled your doubts, because he just hung in there like a true seasoned veteran with Randy Orton. And this match was fire. And it went long. We don't even know what happened. Except
apparently an RKO was hit.
On Kaiser?
No, on Gunther again.
Oh, jeez. I'm glad I didn't see it then. I was going to say they posted video of like
it was a video. Yeah, it was the
I didn't watch it. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You know that Randy's going to try to look, they're going to try to make Randy look good before Bash in Berlin. So it is what it is. But I think that this was another example of the coming out party for Kaiser. I don't think that he needed it necessarily, because he's already been in some matches. I mean, I think Sheamus is pretty credited as a star in WWE, and he's had good matches with him, so I don't think he needed to prove himself. But the fact that he hung in there with Randy Orton and put on a really good match with Randy Orton, I feel like that says a lot.
No, it absolutely says a lot. I mean, the fact that Kaiser was the main event, it shows that they view him very highly. And it was a great little match to further along this feud with Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
They said it on commentary. Kaiser was meant to beat down Randy Orton and just get him weak for Gunther. And he had a good match and did well. Like I was a big fan of it. I was a big fan of the match.
Yeah, and I think it could also say how highly Randy thinks of him too, because obviously Randy doesn't necessarily. I think he said in the interview with Cody, like, he doesn't pitch ideas. Whatever they ask him to do, he does. Mm-hmm. But you know that if he really doesn't want to be in a match with somebody, he's going to be like, no, But especially,
he has before.
Yeah, especially to be in the main event of Raw, which has been years since Randy was on wrestling on Raw, and against a guy like Kaiser. Like, that's a really big deal coming from WWE, Triple H, and all of them, but it also is a big deal coming from Randy. So it kind of feels like Kaiser had a really good week. He got the sign off of The Undertaker, and he looks like he got the sign off of Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, you got the sign off of Randy Orton after that.
I love it. And yes,
I put that in for you.
It is Gunther's birthday.
A lot of birthdays today. A lot of birthdays.
Very exciting. Happy He's 37 years old. Yeah, a fresh little spring chicken, Look at all these chickens,
TBT.
Oh. Yeah. So happy birthday to Gunther. Your number one fan here. He showed up for his birthday and his best.
It's very nice of you to show up to your birthday party in the Artist Streams. Very nice of you, Gunther.
Yes. We appreciate you. You are my world heavyweight champion. Oh my God. Remember when I was saying he was my world heavyweight champion, my real world heavyweight champion, and now he really is.
Look at you. Yeah, it's called manifesting your destiny, Sarah. Okay. I'm very proud of you for doing so.
Micah, haven't you learned that you don't ask a woman their age?
Or if they're pregnant.
Also, what is going on, Nathaniel?
He's close.
He's not close. 70. And I don't know if this is a compliment.
There is a 7 I told you before.
I know, but
Minus the thing on her face. You don't look like that version.
but you also said that I look like Blair Davenport. So
more Blair Davenport than Jillian Hall. Way
well,
more
regardless,
Blair
thank
Davenport.
you.
And that's a. Oh, what is that?
I am younger than Jillian Hall. I do know that. Or let me double check. I'm like, oh. Let me see if I am. I think I am. Oh yeah, I'm younger than her. Okay. Anyway,
Than Jillian Hall?
Yeah. She's 43.
Oh, you're younger.
Yes, I am younger.
Yes, you
but you know,
are.
girls like her, they weren't like in WWE for a really long time, so it's like they could still be quite young. That's why I was like, I'm not sure.
That's true. Because Kelly's like.
Yeah, she's still younger than me, I think. Is she still younger than me? Maybe she's not. I don't know. Now I gotta look. God.
Now you gotta look.
Barbie
Damn it.
Blink.
Look what you do.
No, she's older than me. She's 37. Yeah, she had twins. But yeah, no, she's older than me. Okay, well. Anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw. All right.
Yeah, that was Raw.
And it was a good episode. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long day, and we're gonna be back here on the No Nights Off YouTube channel Thursday for our Mr. Henderson complimenting me mid sign off that I look like Ethan Page. That's a peep right there. I don't get that a lot, but I'll have to start using that one. You can hang with all of us here on Thursday, getting compliments from Mr. Anderson over on our page right here. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live for the Thursday show. And if you're interested in more stuff that we do, I got The Bad Gal, where I play as Sara in 2K, WWE 2K24. Take over the career mode, the My Rise, and we take over the WWE or NWF, as I like to call it. New story tomorrow, Sara. We're not possessed, and we're going to either fight Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, or check in with Regal to see if he has anything for us. So I think there's a couple things. I think there's a couple avenues we can go down. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow, twitch.tv/nonsense sports network. And that was a lot for you to handle. I get it. You probably don't remember that off the top of your head. That's why you got to follow us down below. All right. Links in the description for all our social pages where I tweeted out. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you all for tuning into this edition of No Nights Off Raw Rewind. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you on Thursday. You smack it.